Hello everyone, I'm Emily Guille-Marrett and this is Charlotte Raby. And we are series editors of the new Big Cat Phonics for Letters and Sounds. We've previously spoken before about some of the books before they were coming out, but today we're really excited because we've come into the HarperCollins office.
And it's our publication day!
Yay! There are so many gorgeous books that have been written by an amazing number of talented and illustrators, Chris Bradley, Paul, Sue Rayner. It's so exciting, and Charlotte and I have worked as series editors to put together a really solid foundation for learning to read with phonics, but importantly enjoying the books and having a love of reading. Now, last time...
You're not going to let me talk,
last time we've really focused on wordless books and phase one, and really looking at the early stuff. But today we're going to look at some of the older books and the importance of rich vocabulary. And Charlotte is going to kick us off.
I'm going to kick us off. I'm going to start off actually with one of our very early books. So this is Raby. There it is. It is hidden. It's a very beautiful book. And this is looking at the long sounds for the phonics. I'm going to show you. It's all about engaging with the text. Look at that. Can you find it? Can you see the looper moth? So we've got an incredible spread here for you to find the hidden animal, or the moth at this point. It's somewhere in here. And we've also got this fantastic language, this second and third tier language. So when we talk about tiers of language, we're talking about third tier language is technical language, so something like a looper moth, that's its technical name. And second tier language is the type of language we find in books, but we don't necessarily hear in speech unless we're listening to Radio 4. And this word here, bark, this looper moth is on the bark, is just such a beautiful example of an early decodable text that has got really interesting words in it and is asking the child to really engage and look at that amazing picture as well. What have you got, Em?
Next, I've got, so we're moving from the non-fiction. This is a blue phase 4 book called Tusks, and I wanted to just open this up. Look at that beautiful illustrations. I wanted to start here. So we're looking at adjacent consonants with long vowel phonemes, and it says, so here we go, listen to the beautiful words. There was hail and sleet. The storm was majestic and frightening. Norman was screeching, look out! And you can see from that lovely book that just because it's phonics doesn't mean that we need to be scared of a lovely rich vocabulary. Beautiful word like majestic is actually really easy to decode, but such a wonderful word. We could have chosen something quite, dull, but our lovely author, so this is Jane Clark and Jean Claude, and I think that just shows you how beautiful a book can be.
Yeah, how exciting the language can be.
Absolutely.
And of course, extending children's vocabulary is really important in what we're doing. So the same thing here, look at this, how to spot a letter. Is that not divine? So this is also blue as well. And I have chosen a very cute spread here. So we've got the word habitat in this spread here, which is a really interesting word. It's a very specific word. If you're using a word like that with your children, you're really developing their language and their comprehension. And using a word that's absolutely accurate, it's really easy to read, even at this early level. And just look at how engaging that book is and how much fun that would be for a child to read. And feel successful as they're reading, which is what these are all about.
I think that the editorial and design is so hard on all of these with the authors and illustrators to make sure that even though it's phonics and even though it's very structured and very focused, so we're going to get success, reading
really
success,
supportive.
They're going to be fluency.
Yeah.
They are glorious and fun. And what is not more fun than Monster Treat? So this is Green Phase 5. And I chose this one because it's funny, and we know that children love to have a giggle. And if they love the story and they have a giggle, then they're going to want to read.
Yes, they are.
And this particular one, which we can have a look at. There's lots of fun things happening there. The monster children want to make a mega monster treat. They smashed and bashed and creamed and stirred and added runner beans. Oh no, screeched all the monsters. Now the feast is turning green. You can hear some wonderful sounds that they're practicing, and it's good fun. So that was Amy Sparks wrote. That one's beautiful.
So within each of the books at the front, so I want to show you another green book, How Not to Be Eaten, by Rob Allcroft. Yes, I got her name right. You can see the support you've got here. So there is the phonics here. These are the graphemes that you're looking at. These are the words that are represented by that represent these graphemes. Your common exception words, which come from letters and sounds. And then I'm going to come a little bit closer so you can see it. Look at the language here. So check understanding, gag, foul, detected, prevents, and threatening. So the language is really interesting. It's super rich. So let's look at how that is used in the text. I'm going to sit down. Right, I'll show you the page in a second. Self-destruct. Never surrender. Discard bits of yourself if you have to. Spew out your insides. Look at that. And if that doesn't engage young readers, frankly, what are we doing? That is just so exciting and so much fun to read. So what we've been saying is that the language here is really rich, and we have really worked hard to ensure that the stories and that the non-fiction are really vibrant, that the illustrations really support the children as they're reading. But it's all, there's a lot of comprehension to be had here as well.
Absolutely. and when we talk about reading and enjoyment of reading, we also think about reading for pleasure. And in both the teaching handbooks that Charlotte and I have written, there's a lot of support for not only the phonics and assessing where children are, but for every single book, we've linked a whole range of books that you can read to your children. Beautiful trade books that you can share, because we know that not only do we want the children to be reading their own books, but we want them to be experiencing other books as well. Nibble, Nosh and Nasher is by the wonderful Shu Rayner. This is very funny, but I wanted to give you an example of one of the lines and how we pushed all our authors to really push it in terms of their language. The taxi hurtled off like a frenzied meteor. And it's a funny book, but the children are getting this wonderful, rich experience with their language. So there you go. That was another lovely
So I love in that one, I'm sorry, is the fact we've got an idea like a frenzied meteor, which is a simile. And that's we're starting to get into literary devices and all sorts of things happening there. We're not... This is so exciting to read, and the children can start to imagine what would that be like. So I think that the language is interesting, it's leading them to other places, it's letting them imagine something, we're not telling them exactly what's happening. There's a real author's craft in this bit.
Actually, that's a really good point, because the author's craft is so important, and we've been really respectful, or we hope people feel we've been really respectful about that author's craft, and when you're working with people like Shu Rayner, there's very little that we have to actually do with the editorial team. He really knows his stuff, and he knows how to write a rollicking read.
This is a lovely book that's set in ancient Egypt called Watch Out Nabat, and again I just wanted to show you the very front bit here, how the children are being supported with their phonics but also their language. And looking at the words here, we've got opulent, scuttles, fuming, which are really interesting words and are used so appositely in the book. I'm going to read you this bit here. Oh no, Nabat scurries in the house. The chef is cooking antelope for dinner. Watch out, Nabat! So there's so much for the children to look at in this story. The story moves quickly from scene to scene, and the children are drawn into the world of ancient Egypt, and they're learning about what it's like to be in ancient Egypt, and they're getting to really come across beautiful language. It's very exciting. that they can read without any problems.
And in an example of a book like that, the illustrations are so rich that actually the images can support that language. So they're using their comprehension skills, and they're using all the support within the book to learn new vocabulary and experience it. And then they get to use it themselves in their own writing and storytelling. Which,
so much humour in that. Do you see this one? This is where the stepping stones turn out to be hippos, and there's just a lot of lovely humour in the books as well, which are just fantastic.
So I'm now going to embarrass Charlotte, because this is one that she wrote, which I'm very excited by. The Dragon, and this is the most beautiful book. Alessandra Fusi is the illustrator, and I wanted to show you. I'm going to take my little tab off here. I wanted to show you the beautiful illustrations some more. And here we go. We're looking at a turquoise. So it's phases 5 and 6. The centipede staggered backwards. It lost its balance and fell off the bridge, down into the icy waters of the rushing river and away. So staggered backwards, beautiful language there. So that was just to embarrass Charlotte.
Thank you so much.
Got it in.
Blushed bright red. So we're going to finish off with a final book from Turquoise. So this is as far as we go. Sadly, we'd love to go on forever. And this is a beautiful book called Living Fossils. And this book is just extraordinary. It's got so much exciting science in it. I have chosen a spread that is very humorous, and I adore it. So in each of the spreads in this book, we've got what's happening in the past, what the living fossil looked like in its time, and now what you can see, real pictures of the actual beast or thing or plant in the world. And these stink birds are the most amusing I've ever seen.
It's called a stink
I love
bird.
it's a stink bird.
My boys will like that.
It got its name from its smelly droppings. They eat leaves, which they digest in their stomach, just like cows. And it even says that just like cows, they moo, which was very, very pleasing. But when we read these books, we were learning things all the time, which is just amazing. It is so joyful to be learning yourself when you're reading books. So, I think that every single one of these books has got something to delight in it. But I also think there's a huge amount to learn in all of these books. The language within them is extraordinary.
And actually, from a practical point of view, you can just tell from some of the subjects that we've looked at today. I mean, we've got bear spotting, space science, there's lovely rich non-fiction and fiction, and that all works really well in the curriculum. So it's cross-curricular, you're getting good balance of the fiction and the non-fiction, and that's really what we need. So we're hoping that you are going to join our mission to really get children loving these books and really enjoying phonics and making phonics fun in the classroom. We would urge you to go to collins.co.uk/Big Cat Letters and Sounds. There are videos of us there offering some support and ideas, but also you can, it's your chance to go and buy these beautiful books. So thank you very much, and thank you to Collins for letting us do this.
Thank you. Bye-bye.